approached a woman, had what you thought was a great interaction, then you get her number and text her and you get crickets? To avoid that happening ever again, follow these tips. Polarize her. What I mean by polarize her is make it obvious why you're asking for her phone number in the first place. The way you do that is by flirting throughout the interaction, letting her know that you find her attractive, and maybe even initiating some physical touch. That way, when you ask for her number, it's very clear why you're doing it, and you're more likely to get a reply. Don't let the conversation run too long. A mistake I see a lot of men make is that they have way too long of a conversation, and then the woman starts to get bored and friend zone them before they've even had a chance to ask her out. You should only be having a long enough conversation for her to know that you're basically not a serial killer. Last, but certainly not least, make sure that you look the part when you approach her. A quick check to make sure you've got no crusties in your eyes, nothing stuck in your teeth, and no stains on your shirt.
Okay, check this out, man. Most of what she's saying is pretty on point. These are definitely decent tips for when you make the approach and how to conduct yourself during an interaction. But listen up, guys. We have to be realistic and objective about the game, right? You have to understand that there's absolutely no way to totally stop the ghosting from happening. I mean, it happens all the time where if you know what you're doing, you'll have good, positive interactions with females when you're making approaches, when you're meeting women and things like that. But there are going to be times where when you reach out or follow up, it'll be crickets, right? They'll ghost, they'll whatever. Now, again, we have to understand certain realities of the game. Just like on dating apps, sometimes women can be attention whores where they'll go out just for attention because they might be in a relationship. Their boyfriend might be out of town or deployed, or they might be having an argument with their boyfriend at the time. And so they'll go out with their girls or they'll go out by themselves just to kind of feel good about themselves or to go outside and check and see if they still got it. And they'll have a positive interaction with you. But then when you reach out, they come back to life and realize, oh, snap, I got a man, I got this, I got that. Or they could just be busy, right? Schedules don't align, or, you know, we have to understand that when we meet people, we don't exactly know what phase of life they're in, right? So you can meet someone and have a really good interaction and it still not work out when you try to reach out. You understand? But I'm going to give you some more in-depth tips to add to what this lady's saying in this video. All right. So one main thing that I need guys to understand and focus on is that you have to have more practice in social awareness, right? We have to have more practice in social awareness. What do I mean? There's something called exposure therapy, meaning the more that you're exposed to something is the better you are at understanding what's going on. Is the more skilled you'll get. Because a lot of times dealing with women, dealing with human beings in general is an art. It's not just a science all the time. A lot of times we try to make too much logic out of this stuff where we have to realize that we're dealing with people's emotions, people's identities. We're dealing with a lot of complicated things that are all going on at the same time because you can't really control or manipulate attraction. You understand? Attraction is something that happens naturally. So there's an art to this, right? We're not going to be able to beat this down with statistics all the time. We have to understand that some people are going to be attracted to us and some people are not. And we just have to understand social awareness to see how someone responds to us. And that's why my guy, Mr. Lucario, who has the Bad Boy membership, he advises his clients to approach 25 women a day, right? So that means if you're going out to cruise for chicks or you're sourcing chicks in any given situation, you should shoot for 25. The reason why that number seems so high is because you need to create practice. You need to create social awareness. You have to understand how to conduct yourself in an interaction when you're meeting women and how women are responding to you. You need to understand indicators of how a woman is responding to you. You want to pay attention to the sound of her voice, her body language, her eye contact, her elevated or decreased mood levels. You understand? Women respond to how they feel. A woman could say anything, but she really responds to how you're making her feel. So it's more important for you to understand how she feels based on more carnal and instinctual indicators that shows how she's responding to you. So like I said, eye contact, body language, tone of voice, the sound of her voice, and the way that she chooses to communicate. So not necessarily what she's saying, but the way that she's saying it. OK, and if you want to learn more about Mr. Lucario's Bad Boy Membership, make sure you go to badboymembership.com, where he teaches you how to date on your own terms. So you understand everything you need to understand about how to move in these dating streets. So make sure you go to badboymembership.com. All right. And tell Mr. Lucario I sent you. So like I said, the overall main idea that I want guys to understand is you need to be able to have social awareness. You need to be socially intelligent and understand how to conduct yourself and to gauge how a woman is responding to you. That will tell you everything you need to know. Because if a woman is not responding to you in a certain way, then you'll realize that it doesn't even make sense to ask to exchange information. You understand? And now I'm going to get into a breakdown of the 3 tips that she gave. So the first thing she talked about was polarizing the woman and letting her know why you're asking for her number in the first place, letting her know why you approached her in the first place. So basically, how I explain that is you need to have a plan, right? If you see a woman that you find attractive, you need to have a plan for the next time you see her, or you need to have a plan to do what they call an insta date, right? So you can ask her, hey, what are you doing right now? And she's like, nothing. I'm just, waiting until I got to go to work 3 hours from now or whatever it is. I don't know, whatever it is. You need to be able to say to her, all right, cool. Well, I was headed to the coffee shop to go get a macchiato. You should come with me. Let me get you a coffee and let's have a conversation. We can have an insta date. If you're not doing anything, come with me. Let's get to know each other a little bit. We can have a preview date before I take you out for a real date or something like that. You understand? So you need to have a plan when you're approaching. Don't just approach a woman and not have a plan, because as a man, as a leader, you need to understand why you're doing something. A man has to have a purpose in everything that he does, even when he's meeting a woman, when he's approaching a woman. And if you're not going to be able to do the insta date, then you still have to be able to say, listen, is there anybody in your life that would have an issue with us meeting up for a drink sometime? Or you could say something like, I came over here because I don't have a lot of time, but I would really love to get to know you, spend some time with you. Let's exchange information so we can meet up at another time, something like that. But the bottom line is you have to have a plan. You have to let her know what you're about and what you're trying to do with her. And she also talks about like having some type of physical touch and things of that nature. This goes back to what I'm talking about when it comes to social awareness, right? When a woman is meeting you for the first time, you have to be able to gauge and pay attention to how she responds to you. Now, if she's moving closer to you, yeah, you can create some type of physical touch. Or maybe if you meet by shaking hands, you can hold her hand for a little bit longer than normal, right? Than a normal handshake, right? You can say, well, I'm a hugger. Right. So you can move in for the hug and then probably whisper something to her, in her ear, like, tell her how attractive she is, or tell her how you love how her dress is, or tell her how good she smells upon moving in closer for the hug. Things like that you have to learn through practice on when to do it and how to do it. Again, it's practice. I can tell you the techniques, but it requires practice. This is why we talk about 25 women a day on the Bad Boy Membership and all that. But the bottom line is you have to have a plan. You have to have a plan. You can't just go up and meet a woman and be like, well, duh, hey, how you doing? And have nothing else to really talk about. At least be able to talk about your plan. A lot of times we get stuck in small talk when it's like, listen, man, I just need to know what you're here for. What are you here for? Why are you saying hello to me? What's the whole point of this interaction right now? A woman wants to know that a man has a purpose and a plan as to why he's doing something. When you step to a woman without a plan, it makes you look weak off the bat. And this is why so many guys get rejected and you become an afterthought. You understand? But when you let a woman know that you have a plan, you have a better chance of her being more engaged and interested, because you literally have something in your mind that she can look forward to. You get what I'm saying? So have a plan, be direct, let her know exactly what it is. Don't be afraid. Remember, guys, and shout out to Alan Roger Curry for inventing mode 1, but you almost have to be in a mode 1 type of mindset where not that you're necessarily going to come out and talk about sex or talk about having sex with her immediately. However, you want to let her know that you want to get to know her. You want to let her know that you're attracted to her. You want to let her know that you're physically attracted to her. You want to let her know that she's sexy. And the reason why you want to have that mode 1 and be a little bit more direct is because you want to gauge her reaction. Because if you tell her that you think she's sexy and attractive, that basically means you want to have sex with her, basically, right? I mean, we can talk a little bit more in detail about what that actually means when it comes to flirting and all that and being direct. But you have to at least use the word sexy. You have to talk about physical attraction. You have to talk about the way that she makes you feel and certain other things to let her know the reason why you want to spend some time with her. So at the very least, she has an understanding that it's not platonic. And that brings me to the next point. where she talks about sometimes guys talk for too long, right? You have to keep the conversation short. The reason why you have to keep the conversation short, guys, is because when you talk to a woman too long and you are less direct, you start to make the interaction platonic. And then you automatically slide yourself into the friend zone because you were too afraid to be direct. You were too afraid to tell her you want to take her out. You were too afraid to tell her that you find her physically attractive. You were too afraid to tell her that she's sexy. You were too afraid to whisper in her left ear. Again, shout out to Alan Roger Curry, that you wanted to take her back to your place and have some adult fun. You get what I'm saying? When you spend time talking about the daffodils and the flamingos and the pigeons and the clouds in the sky, it turns into a platonic conversation. It turns into a platonic interaction. And you're literally just sliding yourself into the friend zone because you were too afraid to be more direct. Now, again, I'm not telling you to run up on a woman and say, hey, I want to fuck. I'm not telling you to say that. But what I'm saying is you got to let that woman know in some form or fashion how you truly feel. And you have to get to the point because you want to see her reaction in real time. So you don't waste your time trying to exchange information, set up a date and all that other stuff. Because if you tell a woman, damn, I came over here because you look sexy in that sundress and I wanted to spend some time with you. Maybe we could go get a drink this Friday or something. Right? If you could say something like that, you gauge her reaction. If she's like, I don't know, then you're like, okay, no problem. You have a great day. You know, like I said, that sundress is bad on you. That shit is good. You know, make sure you keep that style up. Take it easy. And you could walk away. But if she's like, oh, thank you. And she gives you her hand when y'all shaking hands and she starts using her thumb to rub the other side of your wrist or anything like that. You get what I'm saying? Or you move in for the hug or whatever, and she's smiling and she's looking at you seductively and all that other stuff. Then you know, okay, listen, I see you ready for us to spend some time together. So here's what I want you to do. And this is where you have to really be a little bit more direct with your instructions as well, because this is what I advise my clients to do. I don't ever ask a woman for her phone number. What I do is I give her instructions to take out her phone. OK, and the reason why this is so important is because if she follows my instructions, then I'm able to, again, gauge how she's responding to me. So if I tell her, hey, take out your phone and text me, what I'm going to do is I'm going to text you back with all the details of where we're supposed to meet and what time and what day. OK. Now, if she takes out her phone and automatically just does everything and then texts me just like I told her to, then that's an indicator that she's with me. That's an indicator that she's willing to follow my instructions. A lot of times we ask a woman for her number and then she's like, oh, well, I can't give you my number, but I give you my Instagram. And then you take her Instagram. And when you try to hit her up on Instagram, it's for nothing. You get what I'm saying? So again, me personally, I like to tell a woman, take out your phone and text me real quick. And then I give her my number. She texts me and then I say, cool. What I'm going to do next is later on, I'm going to text you back with all the information of where we're going to meet, what time, and I'll probably give you a little hints of what I would like you to wear too. And once I say all that stuff and I gauge her response to what I'm saying, then I know if she's with it or not. Now, if she starts to act in any way negative towards what I'm saying, then I know, hey, maybe it's not a good idea. You know, peace, have a nice day, no problem. Or if I say, hey, take out your phone, I want you to text me. And she's reluctant to take out her phone, then I already know. I already know what's up and I don't have to waste my time. OK, because, guys, a huge part of the game is understanding when and how not to waste your time. We got to be efficient and strategic in these streets. Now, the last part she talks about is looking the part. Now, check this out. You don't have to be wearing designer. You don't even have to look necessarily a certain way. You should try your best to be clean. You should try to be hygienic. You should try to smell good. Right. But can you be a little bit sweaty? Like, let's just say you're going for a run downtown and then you see a beautiful woman and you stop to talk to her. You can be sweaty and a little bit out of breath and still create a good interaction for you to meet someone. How? By using your confidence. OK, because no matter what you're wearing, your confidence is exactly what's going to make you look good. OK, again, no matter what you're wearing, it's your confidence that's going to make you look good. Of course, we have to have certain basics. We got to be clean. We got to be hygienic. We got to at least smell good. You understand? Because let me tell you something. You know, a lot of people think like when you're working out, you're supposed to smell bad. No, let me tell you something. You have to understand this, guys. There is a difference between clean sweat and dirty sweat. Okay. When you know you need to take a shower and your ass still go work out, that's a problem. Okay. Me personally, I like to make sure I'm clean before I work out. And if I know I'm not clean, I like to go take a shower, then go work out. I know it sounds crazy to a lot of people, but you can be sweaty and still smell clean. You get what I'm saying? You can have clean sweat so you can reduce the funk. So no matter what situation you're in, even if you just finished a workout, you can still approach a woman, right? You can still approach a woman. Why? Because you're clean, you're hygienic, and you're confident. Those are the most important things. You don't have to be wearing some, $1,000 Versace suit or something crazy like that, right? Like you said, make sure that there's nothing in your teeth. Make sure that there's no crusties in your face and around your mouth and all that. Make sure you look clean and make sure you're at least hygienic. And then from that point on, just make sure you have confidence. Because me personally, I've picked up women and created dates out of thin air, just coming from the gym with my shirt full of sweat. You know what I'm saying? So it's not impossible. But the most important part is for you to be confident. OK, your confidence makes whatever you're wearing look like $1,000,000. OK, so it really doesn't matter what you're wearing as long as you're clean and confident, clean, hygienic and confident. All right, guys. So that's pretty much it, man. We have to be direct. We have to be strategic and we have to be able to gauge a woman's response. And again, we have to come to terms with the reality that every woman that we meet is not necessarily going to like us. These are just things that we can do to increase the probabilities of understanding their level of attraction so we know whether or not to waste our time to pursue the woman. All right. So it's your boy, Miles Cunningham. Hope you got something from this video. Hope you're having a great day. Be good to yourself. And remember, the truth is inside you. Peace.